Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm back with my January wrap up. January was a great start to 2024. Read some great books, discovered some new favourites. So let's talk about the books I read in January. I kicked off January with a buddy read, Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews. This is currently a finalist in Spiffbo 9, that's self-published fantasy blog off, for those of you who are not aware. This is a cosy dark fantasy which has elements of Scottish folklore, dark magic, necromancy, excellent character work. The main relationship is between a husband and wife. There's a good balance between the quieter moments between the couple and just their day-to-day life, but also the sort of inner turmoil, if you like, of Marana, the main character, and her mental health issues, which I think are explored really well. My only quibbles with the book is that I felt the antagonist were more there to serve a purpose, if you like, more as tools to the narrative than characters you could actually dislike. Also, the ending, it landed a little bit flat for me. I ended up giving this 3.75 stars. I definitely recommend this if you like character-driven dark fantasy with a cosy vibe. So definitely check this one out. The next book I read was Infinity Gate by M.R. Carey. This was a new to me author, and I picked this book up on a whim. Just the cover intrigued me, the blurb sounded something I'd be interested in, so I gave it a go. It's a multiversal hard sci-fi adventure. There are lots of interesting themes in this book surrounding AI, self, consciousness, awareness, the multiverse. I felt it had a lot of themes that are relevant to our world today, and questions that were done in a really interesting way, which I think is what's great about speculative sci-fi. This book had fantastic world building, it had some great and fun characters and action as well. There's one POV particularly which I felt had a Starship Troopers kind of vibe, which was very entertaining. This is a planned duology with the second book due for release later this year, and I've instantly pre-ordered that because I had so much fun with this one. I ended up giving this one 4 stars, so really looking forward to the second book. Next up, I picked up a short read on audio. It was just a few hours listening. All Systems Red, book 1 in the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. Now, I'd seen a lot of hype around this and a lot of people reading this over the last few months. Unfortunately, this one didn't live up to the hype. It fell a little flat for me. It did have a very interesting concept and a fascinating POV, but it just didn't land for me at all. It left me feeling a bit underwhelmed when I finished it, so I ended up giving this 3 stars. Will I continue? Possibly, but I'm in no rush to continue this series, but I may give book 2 a go just to see if things improve. Next, I picked up Dogs of War by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This tells the story of Rex and his team. Rex is a bioform designed for warfare. Basically he's a dog in humanoid form. So the POVs on this are unique in that respect. I mean, there are human POVs as well, but this book is just wild with its ideas and concepts. You've got AI, engineered bioforms, control, slavery, political warfare, moral questions. It's just brilliantly done, brilliantly executed. I mean, one thing that Tchaikovsky is renowned for is his world building, but in this book, although it's set in a near future Earth, it's the characters and the ideas that take focus in this book. And I think this, of all the Tchaikovsky books I've read so far, this one has the best character work. It's really so well done and quite profound in some respects. Probably one of the best speculative fiction books I've read in a while, purely because of its uniqueness, and all done in Tchaikovsky's uniquely brilliant way. This one gets 5 stars for me. Really enjoyed it. So much so that I jumped straight on to the second book soon after, Barehead. This follows one of the characters from Dogs of War, Honey, who's a bear bioform. This one takes place primarily on Mars, but also on Earth. This one handles more socio-political issues, and I think is more of a commentary on a lot of the current state of affairs of the last decade or so, mainly in the US, because there's a character in this book who could quite easily have been Trump. The ideas, the writing, everything is so well done, the character development. Unfortunately, this one didn't work so well for me. I didn't engage with the characters as much as I did in Dogs of War. I felt a little more detached from the characters on this one than I did in Dogs of War. And I didn't feel that the story engaged me as much. So I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Next, I continue my reading journey of Mark Lawrence, another new favourite author of mine. This time I continued with his Broken Empire series with book 2, King of Thorns. What can I say about this book? This was such an engrossing read. This was such a step up from book 1. Everything about this book was improved 100%. The character work, the world building. This took the series to another level for me. The world building, which I was intrigued by in book 1, really took off in this book, and I absolutely loved it. The sci-fi elements in with the dark fantasy has become one of my favourite subgenres in a way, because I just love how authors can mash those different aspects of the genres and make it work. The character work here is also a huge improvement. Jog is probably now one of my favourite characters of all time. But for me, the thing that stands out more than anything else is Mark Lawrence's prose. It is absolutely brilliant. I gave King of Thorns 5 stars. Before I get to my last few books, I just want to talk quickly about a DNF, a book I didn't finish. This was Our Lady of the Arlect by Andrew Goldsmith. I picked this up after a recommendation from another reader. It intrigued me, the concept and the idea behind it. And it's not to say I didn't enjoy what I read, it's just that it didn't quite work for me. I DNF'd it at 50%, and I didn't feel that the story was moving along quickly enough for my tastes, and also I wasn't really engaging with many of the characters. So I decided to put it to one side, and I may get back to it sometime in the future, but at the time it just wasn't working for me that I wanted to continue at that time. So that brings me on to my final 2 books. It should have been just the one, but it was so good I picked up book 2 immediately after. So I'm going to start talking about the First Law series by Joe Abercrombie, The Blade itself, and Before They Are Hanged. The Blade itself was on my TBR for January. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. In the end, I absolutely love it. The writing, the world, the characters, it's just absolutely superb. I gave The Blade itself 5 stars, the easiest 5 stars I've given a book in a very long time. And it left me wanting more immediately, so I just grabbed the second book, Before They Are Hanged, and boy was I not disappointed. This book just takes every single element of book 1 and is even better. The characters, the plotting, the world building, the prose, everything is just, I can't explain how good these books are, so I won't. Another 5 stars from me, and I'll be getting to the 3rd and final book in this trilogy, hopefully in February. And if, as others say, that each book gets better than the last, then I'm certain that I will end up finishing this series and saying that it is one of my top fantasy series of all time. So that was January, an eclectic mix of reading, a great start to the year, and finding new favourite again. I just keep finding new authors I want to read more of, new books that excite me and thrill me, and I just love sharing that joy with you. So keep watching, subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll be back soon.